Hello! So I haven't done a garden update at all this year, so I thought I'd get in a quick one. As you can see, everything's growing. I got some bare spots here. That's where the peppers are going to go. They're still inside. I keep them in till it's good and warm out, which it is now. It's June 12th. But I like to keep them inside a little extra long. Tomatoes are doing great. I just trimmed them up a bunch. Got rid of a bunch of suckers, training them up the trellis here, you know, kind of twisting them around and weaving them back and forth from the front to back. Over here, got squash. There's another squash over there, those big leaves. One's a yellow patty pan squash and one's a striped green, like Italian variety. Then all of this here is beet greens. And then at the very back there, the ones with the red, those are Swiss chard. But all these beets will be pulled pretty soon. Yeah, they're quite big down there now. They're ready to, see if I can get in on that. Yeah, see, big old beets, ready to go. So I'll pull them out. I'm going to experiment with dehydrating greens this year. I always have so many greens. I have like a bunch of different kale and Swiss chard and collard greens and all the beet greens. And so I'm going to experiment with dehydrating them and grinding them into a powder and then sneaking that into foods. Then over here I've got a few more tomatoes. And I wanted to show real quick a new pruning method I'm trying out this year. This little guy here is just a cutting that I took this morning when I was pruning one of these plants. I had a big old sucker on it, and I pruned it off and then replanted it, and that's one of the amazing things you can do with tomatoes, because they send out roots from the stem. But so here's a younger example. So what I've done here is I waited till the plant got, you know, a little bit big and established, and there was 3 leaf sets growing, 1, 2, 3. And then this was the main growing stem. And at the crotch, where the leaf comes out, between the leaf and the main stem, the tomatoes just naturally send out new growth tips, like that. And so at this point, what I've done is I topped this off, and because it already had these 3 little suckers growing out of the leaf crotch, and that encourages growth to these suckers after I've gotten rid of the initial growing tip. And so then these have gotten bigger, and I trimmed away the leaves there, because once they get to a certain size, you want to get rid of all the leaves at the bottom of the plant. It just helps air get in there and you get a healthier plant. There's less likely that fungus will splash up off the soil and onto the leaves when you have this big gap here. So this is basically, I'm training this plant to put off 3 main growing stems, and then I'll keep each one of those pruned, and from each one you will get tomato clusters. So instead of just like 1 main growing branch putting off clusters, I've got 3 in this cage here. 3 main growing branches. 1, 2, and then 3. And on this one, it was actually just the original main growing branch here, and then 2 suckers here. So you can, you know, mix and match to get what you need out of it, to get those 3 main growing. And I just pruned this up and pulled a bunch of suckers off of it, but as you can see, I've already got some good clusters growing here with yellow pear tomatoes on them, and these put big old clusters on these plants. And with these 3 tips, or these 3 growing stems, gonna have lots and lots of yellow pear tomatoes on this plant. And you can see this one is almost filled up this basket already. This part over here got away from me a little bit, and it got outside. It just got real big. We had a lot of rain, and it got outside the cage, and now it's too big for me to like weave it back down under, so I just tied it to it, and then I'll train the top here to go back inside the cage. Alright, so moving along, there's the beets. They're ready to be picked. The squashes are getting big. George Michael, Garden Kitty. Then over here is carrots, which are probably ready to pull also. Let's pull one out on camera, just for fun. See what we get. Why? That looks like carrots to me. So, here you go. Couple of kind of weird ones and one really weird one, but hey, those are yellow carrots, so good to go. So I'll be picking those soon. I've also got onions, red candy onions growing down here. As you can see, they're getting nice little bulbs on them. Still be a little while. Onions are kind of a slow growing crop. They take a while, they really do. Then over here, dinosaur kale, or Italian black kale. Then there's a standard curly kale behind that. And again, here's all tomato plants, and these ones I'm just training to one central leader, which will put off clusters of tomatoes as it goes up the trellis. And again, you can see I've cleaned the bottoms of the plants up a bit. Then over here, more tomatoes. I think I have like 5 different kinds of tomatoes growing this year. This is all bush bean, green beans. There's 2 types of green bean varieties. There's bush and pole, and pole are the ones that generally you train up a trellis or a pole, and bush beans grow more down to the ground and bushy. And these bush beans are a new seed, a new variety I got this year, and it is bushier than ever. I mean, these are bigger than any of the bush beans I've grown before, so hopefully I'll get huge yields off of that. And I'm gonna experiment with dehydrating green beans too. I froze some last year, it was very good. So over here I've got a white Russian kale, some just Georgia collards, some more of the black Tuscan kale. There's a bunch of basil right there, just Genovese, you know, green Italian basil, and then all of this is Italian parsley, and I need to just shear that back, and I can chop up and freeze the parsley, or I'm gonna maybe think about dehydrating it, but I can shear that back and it'll actually grow up again, and I'll get another harvest out of it. So that's what's going on in the garden. George Michael, don't go too far, boy. So anyway, then a big development is the chickens. So here they are. You can see where their coop has been. I'm purposefully killing the grass off right here. I'm going to till this up, and it's going to become blackberry brambles, a row of blackberries. So I'm letting the coop stay in these spots longer than I should, just specifically for them to kill off the grass. And their poo will, you know, fertilize the soil. It's high in nitrogen. It's just too hot for it kills the grass initially, but once it soaks in and stuff like that, it'll be good. So here we go. I built this coop using mostly salvage materials or whatever from the Habitat for Humanity Restore, a lot of it anyway, but some of it, you know, like this roof panel here, had to come from Lowe's and whatnot. But I got 6 chickens in here. This one here is my favorite. That's Plumpkin. Then that is Rita. This other black one is Crow. And this stripy one up here is, see, look at Plumpkin, he follows me. This is Kathy Griffin. And down here, that's Ginger, and she makes chicken sounds now. Some of them still peep. She's making full-on chicken sounds. And then the other orange one back there is Liza. So yeah, in here is the coop. They got nesting perches, and down here, this is the automatic waterer. Let's see if one of them will come. Yeah, peck at it. So yeah, they peck at it, and just like a hamster water or whatever, they peck at it and it releases a little bit of water. And so I just have to fill up this reservoir every now and again. Back here is a patch of lawn that was completely dead and just had some weeds, and I've reseeded it and it's growing good. And then this is my next section that I did here, and I just did this, I don't know, less than a week ago, but it's starting to spring up a little bit, and then eventually I'll move down to there, so I'll have nice grass throughout the lawn. The chickens do some crazy stuff here. They scatter their seed out of the feeder. You can see I'm still trying to figure out how exactly I'm going to maintain my lawn with this chicken tractor, because it does, if you leave them in a spot too long, they really tear it up, mess it up. But check this out. These are field peas. They are just like peas. They grow like peas in the garden. Here's another one. You can see the little wispies. This right here is flax, because I have flax seed in their feed. These big dudes like this, kind of looks familiar, right? That's corn, because there's corn in their feed. And then this stuff here is like wheat grass, and what else? There was some other grain I had in there too. But, oh, and these are sunflowers, grown from sunflower seeds that I put in their feed. And I've just got these patches where they used to be, where the coop used to be, and they scatter their seed around. And they eat most of it, but a lot of it gets kind of embedded into the lawn here, and then it rains and it springs up, and I've got this crap growing all over my lawn. And I suppose it's good because I can bring the coop back over here and they can forage on it, and it's good for them. It's all just the stuff they're eating anyway, just sprouted up. But so the backyard is always kind of an ongoing project, you know, always trying to improve it and add new things. Oh yeah, this is 2 apple trees, that one and that one over behind it here. 2 apples, and there's a plum, and there's a peach tree out front. I planted those last summer, and you can see they're doing well this summer. They get yearly pruning to try and train them so they grow proper. Anyway, chickens, they're pretty fun to watch, man. They're cool. They're like their own little show. Julia loves coming out here and watching the chickens. Oh, they're chasing a bird. Or, I mean, a bug. Sometimes a fly will fly in there and they just go crazy chasing it. It's hilarious. So anyway, that's my update for now. Thanks. Bye.